Hello, today we're going to talk about business communication and how best to express ourselves in business letters. The first thing I would usually tell my students is know your audience. Know who is the person you're writing to. So is it somebody who has power within an organization? Is it somebody who's on the front line? Is this somebody who's knowledgeable? Is this somebody you've had dealings with in the past? So if you understand who this person is and you know how much they know and what they can and can't do, you can write a very effective letter. So try to find the name of the person if possible. Always greet the person respectfully. Dear Mr. Smith or Dear Miss Singh would be a lot better than Dear Sir or Madam. It shows that you've done a little bit of homework and you know what you expect from the other person. So if you know their title of their position, it also helps if they're the president of the company or if they're in customer service. So if you know your audience, you know what information you need to include, but also what information not to give. So we always want to know our audience. That's one of the most important things we want to do. Who is going to read our correspondence? And what do we want to happen after we write our letter? So always have a goal and state the purpose somewhere in the letter, either directly in the beginning, or if you need to persuade the person a little, you add it near the end. So we have to organize our thoughts, and it's easier to organize your thoughts if you know who you're writing to, but also if you know the purpose. So don't just write a letter to let off steam. Make sure that there is a goal in mind. So do you want something fixed? Do you want something created? Do you want a refund? Do you want a job? These are all the considerations, and sometimes it's not a bad idea to write these down separately before you write your letter, so you know how to construct your sentences. The good thing is that your sentences should be short, so one thought per sentence. So if English is not your strong suit, the good news is that in business communication we use clear language, short sentences, and we tend to go for more simpler terms because the other person, we want to keep their attention and we want to make sure that they end up doing what we need and want them to do for us. So we start thinking about our goals early on and who is the most likely candidate who will maybe able to help us with our goals, so we don't have to escalate or prolong what we're expecting when we write our correspondence. So if it is something positive that you don't foresee any trouble, we use a direct approach. So have a couple of points. So you start with an introduction to your letter, who you are and why you're writing, then have your goal. And then after you write your goal, if you need any evidence such as a receipt or a file or a document, you state it in the letter. And that also includes file attachments. I'm including this, this, and this. So you have an inventory within your letter, and then you close with contact information and a very friendly, even if you're stern or angry, it still should be civil, and then your name and contact information. Always make sure you have multiple ways of the person can contact you. If this is going to be problematic, you foresee them trying to stall or may disagree, then we're going to use an indirect approach. So we start with perhaps what we liked about the company or service or product, and then we talk about where there has been some issues. So if we're talking about your order not being completed or there was some damage, then we mention it and what we expect for a remedy. So we would say what we want and the evidence we have, what we expect, and if It's also a good idea to have a time limit. So I expect a response within 48 hours or within the end of the day or the end of the week. And then still a friendly close. And make sure that you tell people exactly what you want and why. And if there's any questions, if there's any clarifications, how they can get in contact with you. Uh, One thought per sentence. Don't put all your information in there. Make sure you keep one or two things back in case somebody gives you problems, and then add more. So let's say you were wronged in more than one way. You would want them to just, you're friendly, you're not going to put every information in there, and if somebody starts to stall, you have more information to say, okay, I am being reasonable. So we don't try to lose our temper, and sometimes it's very difficult not to lose our temper if we think we've been wronged. So that's my video. Hope you enjoy it. Goodbye.